Thanks for sitting down with me. I'm going to try to put a twist on this a little bit here. But
Twist me up
yeah.
and spit me out.
So how, we were talking about wisdom a bit. How has music affected your life, and what do you feel that has given you in the way of wisdom, if at all, or working with other people, and what that has contributed to your life?
Well, as far as music, for whatever reason, good or bad, if that's all I've ever done. It's the only job I've ever had beside teaching swimming one summer, and that's it. I've repaired bikes for a month, but I've just been a musician all my life. And something that John said that was so apropos is, to me, wisdom is exactly what he said, and it's overcoming adversity. But it's a key ingredient for me is learning while I'm overcoming, because there are a lot of people who go through life, and it expands out from people to cultures to complete countries who we don't learn from our mistakes, and we go on repeating the same ones throughout life. So wisdom for me is overcoming that adversity and learning from it, so hopefully not to repeat the same behavior if I want to. There's wisdom in that too. Mm-hmm. But music, I just don't know any other. It's just, that's what I do, and everything I do, whether it's educational, recording, or if I'm producing or anything, I mean, it's all so musically related that's my reality.
Mm. So you've been a bass player your whole life.
Well,
essentially,
I'm a surfer. Let's get this straight. I've been surfing longer than I've been playing bass, and besides breathing, which is the only thing I've done longer than surf, I think.
So the pipeline's your home, your true home.
Well, yeah. I mean, it's a home I'm not that comfortable in, but there are other situations where, yeah, I'm comfortable. So I've surfed that's one thing about music. It's allowed me to surf all over the world and surf with some great people and almost die several times.
Is surfing like making music? In a way to you? Is there any parallel there?
There is. I've never really thought about it, and that's a great question, Ryan. Ask the next guy. No. For me, especially playing improvised music, surfing, no two waves are ever alike. When I draw, and rhythm is such a big part of surfing, and that to me it all relates. I play tennis quite a bit too, and rhythm and timing of all of that relates. But surfing is more like playing jazz, because every wave you take off on is a different scene. It's literally, you never catch one that's exactly like the next. There's always subtle differences or huge differences, but maybe more so than music. It's can be very unpredictable, just like playing with Dennis Chambers. You just never know.
What is the best piece of advice that another musician has given you?
The best piece of advice? Wow. Well, my piano teacher told me that I should probably consider an alternate career. And that might not be the best piece of advice, but it's very memorable. Dizzy Gillespie gave me my best piece of advice, and I tell this at clinics or to students or anybody I can. I had this solo worked out on Night in Tunisia. It was a bass feature, and I had a shout chorus and chords and artificial harmonics and a shout chorus and a walking bass line with chords over it, and we were playing in New York, and I finished my solo, and the crowd just went crazy, and I'm feeling, oh yeah, man, this is it. So late that night, we're up in the hotel room where we gamble, and he wins back a lot of what he pays me. It kind of works that way. And so we're playing cards, and Milt Jackson, a great vibes player, sitting there, and John Faddis and Mike Longo, and we're playing cards. And Diz says, "Hey, Steve, you know that solo tonight, Night in Tunisia?" And I'm thinking, oh man, this is great. Milt Jackson's my hero, and I'm thinking really quickly that Dizzy's just going to heave these accolades on me and tell me how great it was, and I'm right in front. And I was bracing myself to be humble, you know, and Dizzy was very forthcoming when he really dug what I did, and I said yeah, and I just I was ready to just kind of, oh man, you know, one of those. He said yeah, that solo tonight in Night in Tunisia, and I said yeah, and he said that was bullshit, and I was just taken aback, and I remember Milt Jackson's over there, and he just puts his head down and goes like that, like maybe he's heard that before. But Dizzy looked at me, and I tried to remember this last night when I was playing with TM and Divinity. I mean, and it's hard sometimes given certain situations, but he said, Steve, and this is an exact quote, he said, Steve, whenever you play your instrument, leave some holes. You never know, music might fall out. And it just reminds me, every time I feel myself overplaying or playing too much or not really fitting the context in which I should be complimenting as a bass player, which is what I get paid to do. All the other stuff up here is that's nice too, but that's the best piece of wisdom I tell anybody. Whenever you play your instrument, leave some holes. You never know, music might fall out, meaning space. Let things happen. Never forget that. I mean, I'll never forget that.
Now, what is a...
And I lost $430 that night. I'll never forget that either. And
Did
those
you get
were
it back, though?
those were $1983.
Right.
Yes.
So that was like $1 million now.
Yeah, at least, or euros.
So meeting the Warwick family, what has that meant to you? With, I mean, it's such a vibrant group of people.
I'll tell you, and if I can walk away from this this week with spending time with Warwick, I am not an official Warwick endorser. I am here through the invitation and kindness of HP, and we've been talking for years, and I'd see him at NAMM shows, and he would send me emails, and almost, where I would think, wow, he's such a nice guy, and he's persistent, and but I never had any idea. And let me backtrack for a second, because I've been a Warwick player for years. I got my first Warwick in '92, and a 6-string streamer, fretless and fretted, and then when I went to record with Jethro Tull in '95. I wanted a 12-string bass, and I knew Woody, who was the artist relations guy with Warwick then, and he said, "Man, I think Hans Peter can make you a 12-string bass." So it was a 6x2 12 that I used on the I can't even think of it, Roots to Branches album, and so I've been a Warwick player, and I used it I brought my Warwick out for the 2005, I think, Bass Player Magazine awards concert, and played it on that show, which kind of rekindled this whole thing. And but anyway, back to our story. Mm-hmm. So I had room in my schedule, and I did come over this time at the invitation, and I'd been talking to Jonas, and I told Hans last night after the concert, and I said, I've been affiliated with a couple companies, long-term relationships with them, and amp companies and all of this, and I said, I saw something tonight that I've never seen before in a company, and I said it wasn't a company tonight, and it hasn't been there. It's been and I'm on the outside looking in like a stepchild, I mean, these, like John B's been around for 20 years, and everybody's been around but me. I'm like the new guy that just kind of walked in and went, wow, so this is what a family company feels like. Because I'm associated now with the biggest guitar company in the world, and I can say this on the record, it feels nothing like what I felt this weekend. And seeing how many people actually and I didn't tell anybody I loved them until I was 40. No, just kidding. Won't tell my wife. But to see people love the company as much as they do, and in doing so, I mean, loving HP and Flo and each other, man, it's wild, and it kind of pervades the whole experience, because you walk backstage there behind the area behind all the exhibits, and people are hanging out and they're hugging each other, and I mean, for me, it's kind of flabbergasting. It really is, because I get a feeling that it feels more like a family, And mind you, I'm a guest at the table, so I'm just looking around, being objective. I'm even trying to be critical at some point. I'm trying to find something wrong with this. What's wrong with this picture? Other than the Indian restaurant, I can't find a damn thing. But that's a whole nother story, and I'll get in. Well, we might not have time for that one.
It's a great one, by the way.
Just remember, get some water, put some sugar in it.
Watch your ass.
Yes, and then wash something.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's my take on it. It's just the Warwick. It's kind of blown my mind. I'll say that this weekend, seeing the way everybody interacts, and it's certainly not the standard for this industry. I mean, it is the exception, and by exception I mean an amazing exception. So that's I don't know anything more to say than that. But when a company feels like a family, I'm used to families feeling like companies, and well, that goes back to my childhood. I won't even get into that.
Well, as I've been with Warwick for about over 10 years now.
Yes.
And I'm sure that you're more than welcome here. You know.
Is this where the contract comes out?
Yeah.
Who's got the pen here? Wait.
You get one bass every 10 years. You get one free setup. Just the help work stuff. You'll have to
and 2 nights with Jonas.
Right.
That is yes. I mean yes. What can you say?
So
in Marseille.
So when are you gonna when are you gonna take the Fenders and chuck them then?
Oh man. Cut. Thank you. Right. Wait a minute. I'm not done. I met this guy last night. Yeah, last night for the first time, and just to show you what I'm talking about, like before the sun even came up today, I'd already downloaded 3 of your songs, and we hung, and you met some of my friends last night, and everybody's hanging, and I see you guys hugging today. Is there something in the water here? I mean, like, is there happy juice? You guys put in ecstasy in the water up there, but seriously, I mean, I met you yesterday, and I feel like you're an old friend, and the fact that you live just up the road in North Carolina makes us rednecks.
Yeah.
And I look forward to hanging with a lot of you people. Now, enough about that contract.
Are there contracts?
I don't know.
I didn't know that Warwick had such a thing. I need to find out about this because I might be missing out on something.
Anything you have to sign, you're not missing out on.
Oh, amazing. Well, thank you very much.
Thank you.
I'm more than sure that everybody has had a pleasurable experience with you. I got to watch you play with everybody up on the Warwick All-Star Jam last night at the party, and it being the fact that it's a family vibe, it felt that way watching it, and I hope for you. And I think you said it that it does feel that way, and I hope it felt that way playing together.
Oh yeah.
With the Warwick artists as well, not just the hugs and the actual attitude that's shared between the musicians and all the people who work here, but also the playing together.
But the interesting thing about music is that when we all go to play together, to me all of that goes away. I mean, is that people I don't even like I can make great music with. And get on stage, and the music takes over because that becomes the language.
I know about that.
But anybody who's ever been on the road with a band, the music is only 2 or 3 hours a day. Right, it's those other 21 hours that make you crazy. The music is what makes you sane. So that's what I'm talking about. Is like when we're not on the stage, that great feeling continues, and that to me that's what I've experienced. On stage is easy. It's those other minutes, like right now, having to pour my heart out to somebody I just met yesterday, who's going to send me a book. We traded CDs, and I've downloaded your music. God.
It's a horrible thing, isn't it?
It is.
This family thing.